Hi, this is Jean-Edouard Miclot from Jedsound.com, and I'm going to show you today how to connect your graphic tablet to Slayer with OSC and how to record in multi-channels in Pro Tools on OS X only. Now go to the OSC settings from the File menu of Reaktor and click on Activate when you see the OSC setup window. Set the local port to 10,000. Then go to www.osculator.net and download Osculator for your machine. It will allow us to route any data coming out of the parameters of our graphic tablet to OSC, which is the equivalent of MIDI but in high resolution. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will use the X and Y axis as well as the pen down and pen button 1 in order to control the pitch, start time, trigger, and random trigger of Slayer. First, you have to press the caps lock key of your keyboard. That will disable the mouse behavior of the graphic tablet. Let's have a look at the graph of the data coming from the X-axis. Now it's time to address the destination of our parameter. To do so, select OSC routing in the event type of Osculator. Now, because both softwares are located on the same machine, click on the settings of the first target and choose localhost 1234 VDMX. Then double-click on the address and change 1234 to the local port that you selected in the OSC setup, which is in our example 10,000. Once this is done, I'm going to repeat the same operation to the Y-axis, as well as the pen button 1 and pen button 2. Now have a look at the OSC monitor at the bottom of the OSC setup window of Reaktor and make sure you're receiving data coming from the graphic tablet. Now that we've made sure that we're receiving data, it's time to tell Reaktor which parameter we want to control. For our example, I'm going to right-click on the pitch wrapper and click on Wrapper 3 Properties. Go to the Connect tab and click on the OSC source. Select the first OSC argument called Wacom/1/pen/0/0. This one corresponds to the X-axis of my graphic tablet. If you're not sure what you have to choose, go back to Osculator and look at the messages. Now you just need to repeat the same operation for the start wrapper. Use the second argument in the OSC source. This will correspond to the Y-axis of the graphic tablet. Repeat the same operation with the trigger and random buttons at the top of Slayer. I suggest to use the pen button 1 argument for trigger and pen button 2 for random. Now I'm going to show you how to quickly create some maps for Slayer. I quickly imported some random animal sounds in a Pro Tools session, normalized them all, and exported them in one folder. Now go to Google and search for Map File Builder. Click on the first link called Jedsound Reaktor Sample Map Generator and download the application called mapfilebuilder.jar. If you don't have already Java installed on your computer, go to java.com. Now open the application and choose the sample directory that contains all the samples that you exported from Pro Tools. Then choose the map directory. A Reaktor map can contain up to 128 samples. Map File Builder will create as many maps as needed. Once you've created your maps, go back to Slayer and right-click on the Twisted Tools logo under the Spectrum Analyzer and choose Load Map. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to route the outputs of Slayer to Pro Tools. If you're on Mac, go to Google again and download Soundflower from Cycling74. Install it properly, then go to the Audio Devices window of your computer. Make sure that Soundflower 16 channel is in use and that all the hardware that you're using are synced to the same clock source. You'll notice that Soundflower 16 is listed at the top of the list. That means that its in and outs will show us the first 16 channels in the I/O setup of Pro Tools. Now go to the Audio and MIDI settings window of Reaktor and select Soundflower's 16 channels from the main device. Go to the external parameter page on the far right of Slayer and select multi-out instead of stereo. Now in the Pro Tools playback engine, select Pro Tools Aggregate I/O. Go to the I/O setup and create 8 stereo input from 1 to 16. Alright, now we should only have to create 8 stereo auxiliary tracks and 8 regular audio tracks. Do all the in and outs, the buses, and we should be ready to record. Optionally, you could record a mixdown of all the tracks by adding a stereo send bus to all the auxiliary tracks. This way, you'll maximize the flexibility of monitoring and editing your own recordings. This is now the end of this tutorial, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Feel free to go to twistedtools.com and check out their other products, or go to this address if you want to get in touch with me.